Hi, I'm Sara and welcome to Hen Corner. Today we're going to be talking about eggs and storing eggs and making sure that we're eating eggs when they're at their best and we're not throwing away food that can be eaten. And I don't know if you've ever cracked open an egg that's rotten. The smell is disgusting, so I'm going to show you how you can check that your eggs are still fresh without having to risk it, cracking a rotten egg into a cake recipe and having to throw the whole lot away and open all the windows because the kitchen smells. But eggs do actually last a long time. So we're going to talk about that today and hope that you can find some eggs, you can enjoy your eggs, you can enjoy your favourite way of eating eggs, and you can make sure that they are fresh and they're safe to eat. Now, as you know, we keep chickens here at Hen Corner. We've got 24 chickens here at the moment, and yesterday I collected 14 eggs, so they're actually all laying at the moment, which is really good. And we store our eggs on something called an egg skelter, and we pop them in the top and they roll down, and then it means that we're always storing them in date order because our chickens don't date stamp the eggs for us. They haven't got date stamps on, we haven't got them from the supermarket, so this is an easy way of checking that we're using them in date order. Other people will write the date that they've collected the egg on the egg with pencil, but we find that we get through them so quickly that we don't need to worry about that. But an egg will normally keep for 2 to 3 weeks at room temperature. Now, I know when you buy a fridge, and we just bought a new fridge recently, fridges often come with egg racks inside the door. You don't need to keep eggs in the fridge. Maybe it's just a way of keeping them to keep them tidy so you haven't got them lying around on the counter, but eggs can be stored safely at room temperature. If you think about it, when you go to the supermarket, you don't pick them up from the fridge, you pick them up from the pantry area with dry ingredients. So eggs do not need to be refrigerated. But if you do put them in the fridge, you then need to continue keeping them in the fridge. You can't say, oh, I'll put them in the fridge, oh, I'll take them out, I'll put them in the fridge, I'll take them out. So if you have decided to store your eggs in the fridge, that's absolutely fine, but that's where you need to store them until you're going to eat them. But if you decide, no, I need to save my fridge space, I need to put other stuff in there, then eggs are absolutely fine at room temperature and will normally last about 3 weeks. They're normally still good to eat after 3 weeks. Now, if you're not sure whether your egg is fresh to eat or not, I'll tell you a little bit about the eggs, because as a chicken keeper, I know my eggs. So inside the egg, there is a very small air sac. And the shell of the egg is porous. It's a sort of semi-permeable membrane there. So moisture can get out through this membrane. And if you think inside an egg, it's very liquid. You've got the yolk and you've got the albumen, the white of the egg. It's quite liquid. And if the egg is left for long periods of time, over time, the moisture will evaporate through the porous eggshell, and the air sac inside the egg, inside the shell, gets bigger and bigger. So it's not that air's going in, it's just the moisture is coming out very slowly. You wouldn't notice it, and so the air sac is getting bigger. So how do we know how old the egg is? Well, we know how old the egg is based on how big the air sac is. Well, how do we know how big the air sac is? Well, think of it as a buoyancy aid. The bigger the air sac is, the more it helps the egg to float. Not that eggs normally float, but this is how we're going to test it to see how fresh the egg is. Now, I've got a glass of water here. So if I lower the egg into the glass of water very gently, we're going to see if it sinks or swims. Oh, right. This egg, as you can see, is right at the bottom of this glass of water. That means it's really fresh because the air pocket is really small, that there hasn't been time for the moisture to evaporate. The air sac is very small, so that egg is absolutely sunk to the bottom. Now, over time, as the air sac gets slightly bigger, as the egg's sitting on the counter for 1 week, 2 weeks, you'll find probably at about the 3-week mark that the egg might start to float it might start to stand upright at the bottom, and you'll know that the air sac is at the top, so it's just holding it upright. And then you might find that it's floating a little bit and it's not sitting on the bottom of the glass. That maybe will be sort of more the 4-week mark. In that situation where you're like, it's a bit touch or go, this is where you crack it into another container. You don't put it into the frying pan, you don't put it into a cake mix, you crack it into another container, and if it looks and smells fine, that should be fine. But if your egg is floating, do not eat it. If your egg is floating, that means it's lost so much moisture, that's taken so much time, there's such a big air pocket that allows the egg to float. Absolutely do not eat it, throw it away. Get rid of it, put it in your food waste, put it in the compost. It's gonna smell, it's not gonna be good to eat. So I hope that's given you some tips. If you can get hold of good eggs, if you can buy them directly from the chicken keepers, the poultry farms, then you will be able to get the freshest eggs. They will last you quite a long time. An egg is a brilliant meal. My favourite way of eating them is poached. I know people love a fried egg sandwich. Actually, I say I like poached eggs. I really like cake. So eggs are fantastic. They're really good whole meal. They're really good for you to eat. They're high in protein, they're low in fat, and they're very versatile. You can make eggs on toast is a great meal that we have here regularly. Omelettes with any kind of filling, pancakes. Eggs are really, really great. So make sure you use them, make sure you don't lose them, you don't waste them, store them carefully, and you'll have some really good nutrition all wrapped up in this tiny shell. Hope that's helpful. Look forward to seeing you next time. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and through all our social media, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, we're at Hen Corner. And if you want to follow our main blog on our website, it's www.hencorner.com. I'll see you next time. Join us on the journey.